Hey there! Welcome back to another episode of Talking Cinema. This time we're back to the old school format. I'm joined with my good friend Matt, aka Rambo Raff for life.
Hello there. Thanks for having me on here. I apologize for the audio, but that's not Mike's fault. That's mine.
Yeah.
But still, thank you, Mike, for having me on here.
Uh-huh. It's better than nothing. I just wanted to bring him back on because I got a lot of movie news I want to get through, and I figured that this is going to be a long video. Might as well make it a podcast. So I've gone all the way back to Sunday, February 17th. So I've gone back in time, folks, like way back a couple weeks. That's what I mean. Like I've been way uh, out of it, so to speak, in terms of talking about movie news. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Jacob's Ladder remake, which apparently it's going to have a different ending.
Ooh,
If it ever comes out,
fuck this shit.
which at this point it's like
Fuck that shit.
I don't know if it'll even come out. If it does, it'll come out direct to video. I doubt this is getting a theatrical release. I highly doubt it.
Or if it does, it'd be like that Amityville movie
Yeah, like
that
Amityville
got
Awakening.
delayed,
Uh, we're
which you
com-
still need.
yeah, I do still need to see that.
You're there. Amityville, I found footage.
But the Jacob's Ladder remake, it's just that film does not need a remake. I agree with Matt. He mentioned it in a video a while back that they should just re-release the film. It didn't. It did. And I agree with that. Just re-release the movie. Like, do it for limited
Do
engagement.
a different cut of the. In fact, do a different cut where you add in the deleted footage,
Okay.
make like a director's cut,
Yeah.
and release that in theaters.
Yeah.
So not only are you seeing it in theaters, you're seeing a new cut with the deleted footage put back in, and then you release that on Blu-ray, like they did that Deadpool, Once Upon a Fucking Deadpool, which
Yeah.
has
That
a
fucking
Blu-ray
bullshit.
you can
Yeah.
buy. Sure, someone will send you that one day to review.
I
But
flipped through it.
I
I saw all the clips, folks. I already saw all the clips with Fred Savage and with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I saw all
Deadpool.
of them already, and it's really not much of anything. It's pretty bland and forgettable. Like it wasn't really that funny, most of it. Like there was one that kind of made me chuckle, but like it was just one little thing. But that's it.
But Jacob's Ladder still holds up. You could put it in the theater, it will still hold up. It's a great movie. It's not going to be improved. So what's the point?
There isn't a point. I mean, that's the
It's
thing.
bullshit. It's just as useless as a Hitcher remake.
It's just as useless as the
It really
Flatliners
doesn't remind me of that.
remake. Remember the Flatliners remake that they tried to market? Oh, it's a sequel, but then it ultimately
I
wasn't a
didn't,
sequel.
I never saw the film. I know of it, but I never
Well,
saw the
I haven't
remake.
seen it yet either, but
But
yeah,
I know of it. Yeah,
it didn't make any money.
I know. I think you have it, right?
I don't
Don't
have
you
it.
have the remake?
I have it on a hard drive
Oh,
somewhere, but no, I don't have the
oh,
remake. I have
okay.
the original.
That's okay. I thought you bought it for like $1 because, like,
No, I think
in
it was
case
some
you.
some other one.
Okay.
I think I might have bought for.
Okay.
I don't think I ever bought that one for $1. But if it was $1, yeah, probably would. I mean,
But yeah, it's useless. I mean, I know the news article is they're changing the ending, of course, because I understand that because that way, if you're going to the movie, you won't know the ending. I understand
hmm.
that. It's just you don't need a Jacob's Ladder remake in the first place,
No.
and it's not going to be as creepy. It's not going to be as scary. Last I heard, they were going to turn into a thriller action movie. I don't know if that's still the case. It's just pointless.
It's just a waste of money. Like, take that money and use it for something that's gonna be more productive or more worth anyone's while, really. Because who is this for? Because that's the thing. Who is it for? I can't think of a single person who's
Take
like,
the money.
man, Jacob's Ladder remake. I really want to see that movie get remade. But half
You
the
don't want
half
you
the
to take
people
the
haven't even
money.
seen it. I mean,
Well, they
fuck.
release it and then they think that's their own original idea when they're just stealing from a source that no one knows about.
Yeah.
And instead, you could take the money, make a director's cut that's longer, put some new special features, and make a new Blu-ray. Because honestly, the old Blu-ray could use an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's not the best Blu-ray. The picture quality could be better. You could have the longer cut, make a longer cut, have new interviews with Tim Robbins. I know he likes the film. Just someone asked him about it in a
Hmm.
written interview, and he said he's proud of it. So make a new documentary.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. Totally. So, speaking of
Arrow
reboots
Video or
or
something.
remakes, well, Jacob Snyder would be great for Arrow or Scream, but I honestly would rather see Arrow do it. You know, Scream's recent shenanigans lately. Um, but speaking of reboots, Jay and Silent Bob getting a reboot. Want to hear your thoughts on that since you're a big Kevin Smith fan and like the characters and everything.
Well, on my channel, for those who don't know, I did review all the Kevin Smith movies. They're still up. They're on a playlist for those interested. I am a fan of the View Askew universe, which is where the Jay and Silent Bob films are. Clerks, Clerks 2, Mallrats, Dogma, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Uh, but I don't trust Kevin Smith as a writer-director because of the past. The last film I cared about was Clerks 2, which was like 2006. Ever since then, he did horrible films like Red State, Tusk, Yoga Hosers, god awful writing, terrible direction, awful jokes. I mean, Yoga Hosers, the last film, had fucking sausage Nazis or whatever the fuck they were.
Bratwurst Nazis, yeah.
Uh, yeah, Bratwurst. There you go. I just, and I thought he was doing the Moose Jaws thing.
I guess that's not
Which I don't know
happening.
what happened to that. And it's, I'd be curious because I like the characters, but at the same time, I have a feeling he's out of touch.
Hmm.
He's not the same man he was back then.
I mean, it happens to a lot of directors, a lot of people. I mean, even someone like Walter Hill, hadn't directed anything for a decade or so, and he comes back and does Bullet to the Head, and does that other film that you actually saw, the other one that he did. The fuck with the
Yeah,
assignment?
with Michelle
Yeah,
Rodriguez. Yeah, it was really cheap looking, boring. I think Sigourney Weaver was in it for some
yeah,
reason, or someone.
yeah. It's Sigourney Weaver.
And it poor movie, poor direction, straight to
That just goes to show
video
you.
direct.
I mean, even somebody like Walter Hill, who in his prime was one of the most visually impressive directors out there, if you ask me, in terms of his visuals and how he used lighting and shadows and stuff like that. None of that is in any of these recent films he's done. Or the Dumb and Dumber sequel, where both Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey were so out of touch with their performances and their characters.
Yeah,
They came across as bad
happens a lot of
imitations of
directors.
themselves.
Happens a lot of directors. I mean, Stephen Herrick, the guy with the
Mm-hmm.
critters and Bill and Ted's
Yeah.
Excellent Adventure, he went on to do fucking
Holy man.
Holy Man
Yeah.
and Man of the House with Tommy Lee Jones
Yeah, that was the
protecting
last film he
cheerleaders.
did that eventually just sealed his fate, and Hollywood was like, nope, no more chances for you. Surprised he got
Man
that
of the
many
House, yeah.
chances after Holy Man anyway, you know?
It just happened.
Holy Man would probably be one of those
With Fred Decker.
used VHS tapes that Urban Outfitters is trying to sell people for $40. Yeah, Urban Outfitters is actually doing this. They're selling packs to hipsters for $40 a pop of mystery VHS packs. And they're all fucking the photos that I've seen, they're all generic fucking titles. You know why a lot of people, like myself and other people, have, associated VHS lately with hipsters? This is why. And Urban Outfitters knows it. They wouldn't have wasted their money doing this if they didn't think that they'd be able to sucker in some hipster into buying VHS tapes for $40.
The hell is Urban Outfitter?
Urban Outfitters is actually a clothing company, I think. Yeah, online store. They also do other things. I mean, the images they're showing here are of tapes of Vacation, Office Space, Heathers, Night at the Roxbury, and Waterboy, the Waterboy.
The official clothing line for Urban Cowboy?
Yeah, they
Urban
sell other
Outfitters.
stuff too. They do other stuff. They also sell, but they do all kinds of things. Yeah, they are still doing it. They even have a mystery VHS pack with horror films. Each one is unique. You get 5 tapes for $40. Uh,
Yeah, I'll pass.
yeah, me too. I just thought that was just absurd and
But
pretty
Jay's
funny.
soundbite, but Jay's soundbite reboot. I have no interest because I think Kevin Smith lost his touch.
I don't blame you. There's a Creepshow TV series. Greg Nicotero just provided. Well, this is on like February the 15th. So yeah, it was a while back. But he provided an image of the creep, and it's practical, but it looks like the creep's derpy brother. Like this just something about the image just doesn't really look that. It just looks like something you'd buy at Party City on clearance after Halloween. It's the kind of thing that would go "Ee, wee," or some shit, and its eyes would light up.
Where's it supposed to? Where's it supposed to be on Shudder or something?
Yeah, Shudder. Which honestly, that I don't know about Shudder and their original content, other than the Joe Bob Briggs stuff, and that's because it's Joe Bob. I mean, Joe Bob is going to, just by himself, even if it's a low budget sort of thing, he's going to bring a certain level of quality to it. I'm leery about this Creepshow TV series after seeing the trailer for the Critters a new binge thing, which I'll get to later. But yeah,
When's the Creep Show thing supposed to come out?
I think it's sometime later this year, something like that. Yeah.
So, what did you think about the Twilight Zone trailer with Jordan Peele?
See, the thing with the Twilight
Because you're
Zone
the Twilight Zone
trailer,
guy.
it just looks like, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, where they're inspired by Black Mirror, and so they want to do their own Black Mirror thing. And I'm like, well, that Black Mirror itself is kind of a homage to Twilight Zone. So why are you trying to do Black Mirror? Just be Twilight Zone. It looked like they're going to remake certain episodes again, which, okay, all right. The 80s one, which is my favorite version, did that too. But I don't know. It just didn't really look that impressive to me. Like, definitely not enough for me to pay some fee, like what, $10 a month to be able to see it through their streaming. Maybe I'll check it out some other way, which is probably the way that most people are gonna check out shit like that. So, speaking of Kevin Smith, he's doing the Howard the Duck animated series for Marvel. I don't know. I'll wait for a trailer. I know that Leah Thompson has actually been approached to do a role. I hope she actually reprises her role as Beverly. I would love to see this animated series actually be tied into the movie in some way. And I know a lot of people, wouldn't really necessarily care for that, but it would be a nice way to throw, a bone to the fans of the film, which it does have a cult following. So, I mean, if you're gonna have,
There are fans?
yeah, you're talking to one, boy.
I'm just
No,
with
no,
Mike. I know. We're just messing.
uh,
I am not. So.
hey, that's fine. I have no issue with anyone who doesn't like the movie. It's an acquired taste. It's like Matt and Turtles 3,
But
really, when you think about it.
well, I don't really like Turtles 3.
Yeah.
I it's like very
We could
mixed.
watch
Like
it as a
it's a
time
bad movie,
waster,
but
right? Yeah.
kinda yes, kinda. But you love Howard the Duck. Like you
Well,
sincerely love it.
well, I don't know. Like I did a recent review a while back, and I don't. I wouldn't say I love the film as much as I used to. I do notice more of its flaws, over as I've seen it more recently. Specifically, the pacing. Like that's a serious problem with the film at times, and some of the jokes don't work, and so on and so forth. But I do like the film. I think it's fun, and I do think it's not as bad as its reputation suggests. But that's just me personally. And so that's why I would love to see it kind of be maybe even just a loose tie-in to the movie, and you could have Leia Thompson voice Beverly, and it would be actually be nice to kind of see if they could get Richard Dreyfuss, who was the original choice to try to voice Howard, to maybe do the voice for the animated one, and if not, I
Isn't isn't Richard Dreyfuss like 80?
yeah, he's 80, so he probably wouldn't do that. I would say maybe try to get
And
Chip.
isn't
Maybe try to get Chip
isn't
Zien, who
Beverly
voiced.
supposed to be younger?
Yeah, okay. I didn't know he was supposed to be younger. Um,
No, Beverly isn't
oh, Beverly.
Beverly a younger
Yeah, but I
when Leah
mean, it's a
Thompson be too old?
voice. It's a voice. It's animated.
Right.
It's not live action. Um, Getting Chip Zien back, that would the guy who voiced Howard in the movie. Because what did you think of his voice? You think he did a decent job, at least like with the voiceover?
He did fine, but they'll never get him.
Yeah.
I
I
guarantee it.
hope they don't do Seth, because Seth sucked. I'm sorry, Seth Green sucked in his little cameos in the MCU, and that's probably who they'll get. And he sucked ass. So he didn't have any comedic timing. He didn't sound like Howard. It was just I'm not I will honestly not look forward to that series at all if Seth Green is voicing Howard. Get somebody else, please. Somebody with
They
an
might
attitude.
get you know what? When Kevin Smith's involved, it might get like Jason Lee.
Jason Lee, I could see. That'd be interesting. The other
I just meant that
animated
just Kevin
ones,
Smith's involved.
that's the only one that I'm kind of curious about from the Marvel and new animated series they're doing. I don't really care about the Dazzler one. I don't care about one that deals with. I'm trying to remember who the fuck else it was. I don't care about any of the other ones. I really don't. It's the one that I'm the most interested in. But we'll see what happens. I'll wait for a trailer. Because initially, George Lucas, he wanted to do an animated Howard the Duck. That's what he wanted to do, but the budget would have been too high, and he felt that the audience wouldn't be big enough to want to see it, which is crazy. It's like the live action film was a bomb, so it's not like the animated one would have been any different in terms of like audience, or maybe it might have been, but who knows. But I'm curious about it. I guess speaking of 80s movies, the 1987 Masters of the Universe film is getting a toy line. Gonna have one with Dolph and Skeletor. I'm looking at the Dolph one. It doesn't really look like Dolph, which is a problem. I guess they couldn't get Dolph's likeness or something. Like, really?
Then what's the point?
I know.
Then what's the point of being an '87
I
movie
know.
one?
I know. Because I mean, I'll send Matt a link here. This has
It could
the
be done. I mean, someone sent me one that looked like Danny Glover from Predator 2.
Mhm.
Like, people are talented enough to create that. No, it doesn't really look like Dolph. So like maybe the hair he had,
Yeah.
but no.
Skeletor looks cool though. That's the one that I would have liked anyway. It's the Franklin Gela Skeletor one. But even that doesn't really look like Franklin Gela. So it looks like Frank more than Dolph. Than the He-Man one looks like Dolph. That's for sure. I guess they're trying to do that because apparently there's going to be that He-Man movie that's supposed to come out this year. I guess. I doubt if it comes out this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's not coming out this year. Almost guarantee it. Because they're not even shooting it. They haven't even cast for it.
No.
They haven't cast anybody. So it'll take like 4 or 5 months to even shoot it, and then post production. And you still have casting. There's no way it's coming out this year. It's already March.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. I saw the trailer for Rocket Man with Taron Egerton, the Elton John biopic. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think it looks great visually. Taron Egerton looks like he's going to deliver a performance that is going to be possibly the best of his career to date. And the fact that he's actually singing is really impressive to me. Like, that's actually his voice. It's not dubbing or anything. Like, he's actually singing. And he does a pretty good job. So as someone who's been in choir for, 11 years or more, just to see an actor actually, sing and do it well, unlike some of the actors in the Les Miserables movie or the Beauty and the Beast reboot or remake or whatever the hell. So it's nice to see that. And Taron apparently is a really big fan of Elton, and this is something that he's means a lot to him. So yeah, I'll definitely give that a watch sometime. Creed 2, I haven't seen it yet. I will sometime. It was going to feature a Rocky Drago fight. I saw it. It was like a little clip that I guess Drago and Rocky were going to fight in the hospital. And it really it isn't that much. And from what I've heard about the film, it's not like that being in there would really save the film or make it any better. It would have just drug the running time even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's going to be a Netflix series called The Dirt, which is going to be about Motley Crue. To me, it looks like fun because it's gonna talk about show all the debauchery of the Crew, because they were infamous for just their parties and just insanity. So, and the acting looks pretty decent too, and you got the music, which I don't mind Motley Crue. I mean, compared to bands like Poison and stuff like that, I've always been not a diehard fan of Motley Crue, but I've been a fan of their music. Kickstart My Heart and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's going to be a Hulk Hogan biopic. Todd Phillips is going to direct it, and Chris Hemsworth has been cast as the Hulkster.
We don't need a Hulk Hogan biopic. Just watch The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. Although I could see why they I could see why they wanted to do it because of the whole Gawker thing, and he won the lawsuit. That's probably how it would end, and how he, in essence, saved. He didn't really save WWE, but he made it as big as it would end up being. Without Hulkamania, I don't think WWE is still around today. I really don't. Whether you like him or not,
Right.
I guess Steven Spielberg doesn't like Netflix. He doesn't like streaming. Guess he's being a schmuck about that now.
Well, doesn't he think like movies should be seen like he still likes the theaters, he still likes watching movies at home.
Yeah, but he's also trying to to get it so the Netflix films don't get nominated for Oscars too. That's what he's trying to do too.
Mm.
Which I don't know about that, because there are certain Netflix films that, some of them actually were going to go in the theater, but studios didn't think that they would make any money or didn't want to release them in theaters, so Netflix picked them up. So, I agree with him in the fact that, yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about the theatrical experience over streaming, but I can see why people, they're getting more and more into streaming or waiting till the movie comes out on home video and buying it or renting it versus going to the theater, because you have to deal with all this bullshit. When you go to the theater, you have to deal with people, and sometimes people in the theater are just obnoxious and a pain in the ass. So, and then you got to deal with high prices.
My problem with Netflix. My problem with Netflix, they don't release stuff on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's another problem. They do sometimes, like Stranger Things, but other stuff they don't. Like,
Yeah,
there's
if it's
no
Stranger
Blu-ray
Things, but
of, was it Spectral? There's no Blu-ray Spectral
or Bright with Will
or
Smith.
Bright. And when
Unless
they do
it's
release
Stranger Things,
Blu-rays,
they don't do it.
even when they do release Blu-rays, Matt, they're not even that, like, they're okay, but, like, there's no features. None of the Stranger Things Blu-rays have any special features. They're completely bare bones. And you would think of all shows, you would think there would be, like, loads of features for that series. Nope. What you got is a book, which was fun to read, but ultimately it wasn't as detailed as I hoped it would have been. So it was disappointing because it wasn't as detailed as you would get with an actual featurette or a documentary or interviews with the effects artists and the cast and the crew. But I guess, Netflix just doesn't think special features, or Blu-rays are really that important. It makes sense because they've already said things like we don't really care about physical media that much. So it makes sense. So they don't really want to make a case for it. Just like apparently the Oscars don't want to make a case for best stunts and choreography. Which I think it's about high time that there's a choreography and stunts Oscar, if you ask me. I mean, especially when you have films like
I don't give a shit about anything with the Oscars.
Well, I know, but I think that would be a nice thing, though. I personally feel that, because films like
but
Mission Impossible.
When have the Oscars not sucked? That's the point. When have the Oscars not sucked?
I mean, even back in 1988, the last time they didn't have a host, they had fucking Pee Wee Herman gets pretty much it's kind of like he's in danger from an Ed 209, and then he's like, RoboCop. Yeah, Pee Wee Herman is asking RoboCop for help. He's like, RoboCop, help. And then some guy in a RoboCop suit shows up and then shoots lasers at the fucking Ed 209, and it stops. And Pee Wee at this time is like flown up high into the air and is clinging onto like a balcony or some shit, or top of the roof. RoboCop saves him, and then there's this really bad, because they apparently, like, they couldn't have the guy move his lips along with the dub, so RoboCop apparently says, you're welcome, Pee Wee, or something, but and then like gives him like a fist pump in the air, but like his mouth doesn't move. So it's just like, it's like ventriloquist RoboCop. Oh, that fucking Oscars, that was a fucking mess. So yeah, I you got a point. I mean, when has it not sucked? Exactly. I'm just flipping through some more here. Trying to catch up. I guess Ghostbusters are going to meet Transformers in a new comic miniseries. That could be fun. Speaking of crossovers, Batman and the Ninja Turtles. They're going to have a crossover, an animated crossover, actually, which looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they crossed over in the comic book, so I guess the DC animation worked a deal and is doing that, which is cool. I guess it's supposed to come out this year, maybe in April or something. Really, I look forward to it. Hopefully, don't disappoint, but I saw one picture. The turtles actually look like the turtles, and
Yeah, they do.
it's cool.
Unlike Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where fucking
Yeah.
gangly, skinny, anorexic-looking assholes. Um, Somebody like on YouTube, like they're reviewing like bad shows, and like they showed a clip from that, and I cringed so hard. Like I almost, it was, it was so fucking cringe-inducing. And it was like something about like cookies, some turtles farting cookies or something. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like a video game or
It's
something,
Paramount.
and you had a turtle head on
Stick
some
away.
fucking animal, and it's shitting cookies or something. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's Rise of the Turtles.
It's getting a rise out of both you
Go
and me.
figure.
In terms of both our
Oh, it's
blood
shitty.
pressure.
Wow, I never would have thought it was shitty. How surprising.
So,
People like that. No account for taste. That's my. If you
Space
like it, to
Jam.
your own. I
So
don't understand.
Space Jam is getting a sequel. Space Jam 2 with a Space Jam Chew. Space Jam 2. Apparently, I can't say it because I'm so triggered. Apparently, um, Space Jam 2 with LeBron James, and I don't care. I like the first Space Jam, but that's because I like Looney Tunes and I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. But it's not like it's a great film. Like that's honestly kind of a guilty pleasure for me now. It's not. I don't think the sequel is going to be good, let alone really be that worth of much of anything, to be honest. Just going to be another nostalgia porn movie.
They should have done like a space. Really go out of the box for Space Jam. This is just off the top of my head.
Uh
Have like I don't know, Donald Duck. He
huh.
decides to quit and join WB, and it's like Mickey Mouse, Goofy. They decided to play a game against the Looney Tunes and
Huh. All right.
try to get Donald Duck back. I don't know.
Disney versus
I
Looney
don't know.
Tunes.
It's something out of the box, not just a remake. It's a sequel, but it's just going to be the same fucking movie. Another basketball player.
Just with
One I
other
don't give a
basketball
fuck
players
about.
that lose their powers and different aliens.
Yeah.
And LeBron James. And maybe a Bill Murray cameo. That's it.
Now Bill Murray's busy playing golf or something.
So, speaking of nostalgia, this is actually a sequel I'm looking forward to, though. Bill and Ted 3. Bill and Ted Face the Music. It actually has a shooting date now. It's going to start shooting this year. I'm actually really looking forward to this because the same writers from the first two are involved. Dean Parasot's directing, who did Galaxy Quest. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters, Alex Winter. They are really big fans of the characters. Like it's not like, oh, we did this when we were just starting out, and they're not embarrassed by Bill and Ted at all. In fact, they've been trying to do a third one for a while now. I love that Keanu, he has an appreciation for that role. I think that's really nice to see, because there's a lot of actors, if they were in that role, they would look at it now and be like, well, I'm beyond that now. I'm above that kind of childish, stupidity. But no, Keanu's not like that. And I'm really curious to see it because they're going to be back. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake. We've already seen attempts at trying to have another live action Bill and Ted, and it was a fucking disaster. With the live action Bill and Ted TV show that aired on Fox briefly. I don't blame any of you for not knowing that existed. Trust me. Most people don't. And for good reason. Because it is fucking atrocious. So it goes to show you that not any two actors could really pull off the Bill and Ted thing. Because some people thought that. Like, oh, it's just a bunch of, two actors just being dumb, and kind of stoners or whatever. But no, what really makes those guys work is the chemistry. And it's not necessarily the acting, it's the two. They're good friends. They like each other, and it shows. The chemistry isn't forced, it's genuine. And I like the idea. Like they're trying to figure out how to write the song to save the world, and they have to go back in time, and so on and so forth. And it just seems like as long as it's not like condescending towards the other films or anything like that. I don't want to see that kind of thing, where they just take pot shots at at the franchise and stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of that type of what is it like ironic. Please don't make it an ironic sequel, you know. I don't see that happening.
Right.
Because I don't see those writers, really doing that with this franchise after all this time. But all I can say is we shall see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really curious about it, but I can't really say for sure like it's going to be awesome or it's going to be excellent, until I see a trailer at least. And even then, that's not enough. And I'd love to see it get a theatrical release, but I'm kind of thinking it won't. I'm thinking it'll get direct-to-video or VOD. But we'll see. So there's a new Dune film getting made by Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049, Sicario. And I'm a little bit curious because he's an absolutely amazing director. It's a great choice to do a film like that in terms of the visuals. But, I mean, it's just a really hard book to adapt, and I'm always going to have a soft spot for Lynch's Dune. But in the cast, I don't know, the guy that's playing Atreides is kind of a wimp, and I don't know. And Zendaya, I don't like Zendaya. I don't think she's a good actress. She should have stayed, stuck to Disney Channel level sort of work. So it's one of those we'll see what happens. I'll wait for a trailer before I say anything for sure on Dune. But yeah, I don't know. Matt obviously doesn't have a dog in the fight. It's just like
no.
The Pennywise
No.
documentary. That there's a trailer that came out for it by the same folks who are doing RoboDoc, which still hasn't come out. So if you have done Kickstarter or Indiegogo for Pennywise, well, get ready to have your butt be numb waiting for Pennywise to come out, because just because the trailer came out doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean the documentary is coming out anytime soon. And they knew it because they changed it. They didn't say a particular date at the end of the trailer. They didn't do that with the latest trailer for RoboDoc either. They released a shorter one, and it says coming soon. But at least they learned now. Good for you. Took you long enough.
Coming soon to a decade near you.
Like that part 2 of that Turtles Forever documentary.
Oh yeah, the definitive.
Yeah.
70% of the history is missing.
So apparently Stallone is going to be
70% of the history missing.
doing a superhero movie, a dark superhero film. Called Samaritan.
It'd be nice if it was good, but
yeah, I know.
Almost 10 years has been a lot of sly crap.
Yeah.
Sad to say.
I'm curious about
Backtrace,
it,
which I saw, it was a piece of shit.
It centers on a boy learning that a missing superhero vanished 20 years earlier after a battle may still be alive. That's potential. A dark, gritty superhero drama? I'm more interested in that than any of the upcoming films in the MCU. Or the DC Cinematic Universe.
We'll see. I'll wait for a trailer.
Yeah, me too. Wait for a trailer. But I do like the idea. That's a good start, at least. But yeah, you saw Backtrace finally? Are you having a hard time backtracing your steps and remember what you even saw?
Sly's in it for like 15 minutes at most.
That's what I thought.
He has like 4 or 5 scenes total.
Just like we thought. It's
Couple
more of
scenes
a
in an
Matthew Modine
office, and then
movie.
couple scenes in an office, and shoots like 4 guys at the end, including Shooter McGavin. Christopher McDonald is the
Sounds
villain.
great.
That's
So,
really it. He's in a couple scenes where he's in an office, and then at the end he shoots like 4 guys in an empty warehouse. One of them is Christopher McDonald, aka
uh-huh.
Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
So he shoots Shooter.
Yeah.
Sly, come on, man. Stop wasting what's left of your career with shit like this. So, speaking of shit, because honestly I think this is going to be shit, the Gremlins animated series, which is apparently going to be released or unleashed on Warner Media streaming service. Because, of course, Warner's going to throw their hat into the streaming ring now, too. I mean, last time I remember seeing any sort of like animated series based on a film that I can think of, other than Clerks, which actually wasn't that bad. They did one based on Spaceballs, and it was hot garbage. It was hot flaming space trash. Like it aired on TV Land or something. That's one. That's one aspect of Spaceballs that most fans of that film, would like to forget or already have forgotten, or new fans don't even know anything about it. They're like, there was an animated series. What the hell? I'm afraid it'll just be like that. Or just some lame, shitty animated series
When unlikely, yeah.
that just uses the Gremlins license to get a quick buck. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't know. I doubt it. I don't give a shit about the Lion King remake. Live action remake. It's fucking stupid. It's a dumb idea. Because there's
Lion
nothing live action about Lion King.
Nah, I don't care about the Lion King
Oh, we're gonna have Cobra
and the
Kai
lion asses.
season 2.
Why the first season sucked?
Apparently the ratings were decent enough.
Give a fuck.
Well, I agree. I haven't
Don't
seen
give
it
a
yet
fuck.
either. It just looked pretty bad to me. Detective Pikachu. This is a film where Matt and I don't agree on. Like, this is a trailer. Like, we're completely at different sides with this one. So it shows you that we don't always agree or disagree on everything, folks. I actually am curious about Detective Pikachu. The idea intrigues me. I think it looks pretty impressive visually. The jokes were kind of lame, so I'm worried about that aspect of the film. But I like Ryan Reynolds, and I used to collect Pokemon cards. I used to watch the anime, so I'm curious about it. It definitely looks like it's gonna be more respectful to the source material and be better than the Last Airbender, for instance. But then again, it's not like that's not really saying that much.
To me, it's Ryan Reynolds just playing himself, only he's in a Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
And, this guy wants to say Green Lantern. Green Lantern was embarrassing. This movie looks 10 times more embarrassing than anything Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wants to keep making fun of Green Lantern. And this movie looks like fucking goofball shit with some lame ass kid who I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And, fucking Pikachu farting in his face. Or whatever the hell it was. Oh, I'm sorry, I had too much coffee. Where the hell his line was at the end of one of the trailers.
Yeah. I don't think I saw that trailer.
And I never gave a fuck about Pokemon. I think he says something like I had too much something. He was on the guy's shoulder.
Okay.
was like the end of one of the trailers spots or something.
Uh-huh.
And I never gave a fuck about Pokemon. Why the fuck is he a detective? I know it's like some kind of thing, and I'm like, whatever.
It's cool.
I don't get the buzz. I guess I'm just not a Pokemon guy,
No
folks.
worries. No worries.
And like right to me, it's just another fucking mark on the wall of Ryan Reynolds' bad career decisions. Like R.I.P.D.
Uh-huh.
Green Lantern was good, but people didn't like
I
it.
like Green Lantern too. More and more I
But
see about Captain Marvel, the less and
I,
less I want to see that movie. I really could care less about that film at this point.
I've never given a shit, so I guess my opinion stands. It hasn't changed.
Speaking of stuff I don't give a shit about, Dark Phoenix. It's sad because I love this storyline. This storyline, the Dark Phoenix storyline, is one of the best storylines in X-Men comic history. It's one of the best parts of X-Men in the animated series. And I was so hyped for it after the end of X-Men 2, where you see the Phoenix rising, the shadow of the Phoenix rising over the water, and then you get the Last Stand, which is fucking... It was just really disappointing. There were a few things that I didn't mind about it, some nice action bits, so on and so forth, but overall it was a letdown considering all this time and considering the storyline that they were adapting. And I was thinking, okay, with this one, they'll get it right. They didn't get Apocalypse right. They fucked that up in the last X-Men film. So I don't know why I thought they would get it right here. But I guess I have wishful thinking. And
I don't know either.
after seeing the trailer, nope. More of the same shit. It just looks like a more boring, forgettable version of The Last Stand. Looks like it won't even have the same fun bits of action that Last Stand had.
I actually like X-Men: The Last Stand. So
it's cool.
To me, this list's 10 times worse.
And that's fine.
But this, I mean, Mystique dies. I'm sure you're glad for that.
Jennifer Lawrence, finally she can just
died.
Fade away.
And no, that's not a spoiler, folks, because it's in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I mean, the girl who plays Sophie or something, Sophie Turner, like, wow. I mean, from Famke Johnson to Sophie Turner, what a drop off. She has like her range of emotion is so limited in this trailer. Might as well be a fucking department store mannequin. I mean, holy shit.
Who gives a shit about most of these people? Weren't most of them not even in first class?
Yeah.
They just appeared randomly in the last one?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. There
we're
was a good chunk
care?
of them that were in Days of Future Past. That's where they were in.
I didn't see that one.
I actually like that one.
I'm tired of X-Men movies.
I think you might... I don't know if you'd like it as much as I did, but I think you'd appreciate it more than Apocalypse or this one or First Class. Because Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, he's got a big role in it, and I think it's like a nice crossover between the two. Yes, it does retcon Last Stand, but I'm okay with that because The Last Stand was just, to me, was just a bad ending to that trilogy. So, but that's just me personally.
That's fine.
There's gonna be a Viewmaster movie apparently. Yes. MGM and Mattel are working on a Viewmaster film. This is not an April Fool's joke. They are actually working on this shit.
My guess they'll be canceled just like that Tetris movie.
Yeah.
That they said they were going to do and all that stuff.
Or the Monopoly film.
So yeah, I think it'll be canceled and never happen.
I hope so. because it's just a really bad idea. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, how are you gonna have a Viewmaster movie? Like, somebody finds a Viewmaster and it's like magic or some shit, and it brings them into the world of the Viewmaster. That's obviously what they're gonna do. Like, I've already figured out what they're gonna do if they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, right
So
off
the
the
golden
bat,
tickets, Viewmaster.
right off the bat, it just doesn't seem like it's really gonna be anything that unique or that interesting. Was it gonna be a sequel to the Page Master?
Right.
Bring back Macaulay Culkin, Christopher Lloyd. Instead of a library, it's a fucking antique shop or some shit, and somebody finds a Viewmaster. I remember actually playing with a Viewmaster when I was a kid. I think I had some Disney ones, I think. I had a Disney Viewmaster.
So do I. I remember doing some of them. I think one was He-Man, but no one cares. No one
And
remembers it.
especially now, like most
So I think that's why
audiences
it's going to be
now, they don't
canceled
give a
quickly.
shit. Like, so it's even more pointless of a film. Because, like, so many people don't even fucking remember or even know it was a thing. Rambo Last Blood is
Exactly.
supposed to come out in September of this year. Yeah. It's a new Rambo film, and
Oh yeah,
you
it's a
can
great
hear the
month.
excitement in both our voices. Like, yay. And it's Rambo we're
September is a
talking about,
great month for movies.
apparently.
September is a great time to release a movie too. It's
Not
like one of the
really.
worst months to
It's
release
one
a
of the
movie.
worst months to release a film, for sure. It's right up there with January. I don't really care about Cowboy Bob Rambo or fucking Brokeback Rambo. You know?
Just call him Boy.
Roy Rogers. Uh, I mean, I'll wait for a trailer to like reserve my final, like, well, not necessarily my final judgment, but to reserve like the ultimate judgment, I guess. But I don't know. It's just I don't think there needs to be a fifth Rambo film, and Stallone's latest track record has been so shitty. I don't have a lot of hope for it. Honestly, I wish it was just a different movie. It was like it wasn't tied into Rambo. It was just Stallone doing something like The Last Stand that Arnold did with him versus uh, Mexican drug dealers or something, the cartel.
Sadly, at this point, I really don't care about anything he does.
I don't blame you.
I'm a fan of his old stuff, but why should I look forward to another disappointment, another piece of shit
You kind of feel
that
the
he's done
same
for
way about
almost
Van
10 years
Damme right
now?
now, because it seems like you just Van Damme dies. It's just like every single film it seems like Van Damme is doing lately, folks. It should have like a disclaimer in the beginning, which has footage of Dolph Lundgren saying, "If he dies, he dies," because it seems like that's what happens in
Yeah,
every Van Damme movie lately.
yeah,
Van Damme should do
and they
a
just
sequel to Pauly Shore is Dead, and it's called Jean Claude Van Damme is Dead.
maybe wake him up so he's not so stone faced.
Because it seems like he's pretty stone faced, yeah, in these movies. Like he's going back to the Universal Soldier, uh, what is it, Day of Reckoning, and like Regeneration days.
He's been doing that for a while, sadly.
Yeah, yeah. Saw a little bit of the fun though in Jean Claude Van Johnson, but that didn't last too long. Just gotta have, just Amazon needs some money to make a Lord of the Rings series, another season of The Tick.
Which was never heard of. Which was never heard of again. Lord of the Rings. That
Well, I've heard
How
it.
long has it
I've heard
been? You
it
haven't
being
heard a damn
mentioned,
thing
but
about
like
it.
there hasn't really been like any like super big details about it just yet. And I think it's on purpose because like I think there's
I
like
won't.
something where like Netflix, not Netflix, I mean, Amazon, they've gotten like the script locked up and everything. Like they were really keeping things under lock and key with this thing.
Waste of money.
Well, I agree. So, speaking of waste of money, Critters, a new binge. Uh, I don't mind the idea of having more Critters. You know, that could be fun. A miniseries with Critters, you know, done with practical effects could be a fun show, but not like this.
Not if
This
it looks
looks
cheaper than
cheaper.
a $2 horror on
Yeah,
prom night.
exactly. It looks worse and cheaper than the sequels, than Critters 3 and 4. I mean, how is that even possible? It looks worse than some fan films I've seen. It's like
Too
the
much
directors
lighting.
that they
Must
have.
be lit by next to the fucking sun.
Yeah,
And the critters half the time feel like they don't barely have any fucking hair, or they forgot some pieces of hair on them,
yeah, yeah.
or they look anorexic or something. I don't know. Or they're balding, or I don't know, losing fucking hair or something.
But the thing with me with this it just looks
I've seen fu-
so cheap.
I've seen fucking fan films on YouTube. The guy who did that Gremlins one where they
Yeah,
flipped through like Batman
that was
and like
amazing.
that looked more high tech than this. And this is a TV show. Well, Netflix. It's an official show.
Shutter, yeah.
It's not even like a fan film.
It's an official show for
Shutter,
Shutter,
okay,
yeah.
Shutter.
And
So
yeah,
it's not even like a fan fucking pissing around thing.
it's like where is Shutter's
This
standards
is a
that like
fish film.
this is the product that they're actually gonna shit out. They're gonna put this product out there and actually ask people to pay to see this
It's the
shit.
name. It's in. It's the name, and well, there's gonna be a chunk of people who like it because it's the name, and they want to see another Critters thing, no
Yeah,
matter what it
yeah, you're right.
is,
Even though
no
the
matter how
trailer looks
high or
like
low the quality
it
is.
looks fuck. It looks like it looks worse than the worst Critters film. Like I mean,
Or read the comment section on each of those videos. You have people like, oh, it's another Critters thing, and it's
well, yeah,
practical. You know, it's cheap, and they don't know how to use lighting,
uh huh,
which is one of the first techniques you use for creature effects, is how to light
yeah.
something
It's
and lit it
baffling
too
to me.
fucking
Like that's
bright.
the thing
So
that really stood out to me the most.
500 megaton light.
Yeah, when I saw that trailer, I was like, everything is lit way too brightly. It's too much of a bright light for this type of film. It's like amateur hour. You don't know how to fucking shoot these critters. Like if you're gonna have practical effects, that's great, but that by itself isn't enough to me if you're lighting it improperly. Because you're doing it a disservice and you're making it look faker than fuck. You're making it look exactly like what it is. Latex and foam rubber. And that's
See,
every bit as bad CGI to me. It really is.
and it's as cheap as those later Puppet Master movies.
Yep.
That's how cheap it looks.
Or the Transfer sequels. Or the Nemesis sequels. This fucking Nemesis sequels. It looks every bit as cheap as shit like Nemesis
Yeah, the
4.
Nemesis sequels. Yeah.
And that's pathetic. It really is. I'm sorry,
The
just because it
acting looks
has
piss poor.
critters doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, oh my god, just because critters are back, automatically it's going to be good. Sorry, no. I will still see it
I know people
someday,
get pissed at me.
but I'm not looking
I know people
forward
get
to it.
pissed. People get pissed at me. I know that people get pissed at me or unsubscribe to me because I've had someone say this because I have such high standards for just popcorn entertainment.
Wow,
But
really?
yes, I do.
So do I.
They were being nice about it. They were being nice about it, so I'm not going to name them.
Uh
They
huh.
weren't mean. I was on someone else's page and I saw their comments, and they weren't talking to me. They were talking to someone else. It's like, oh, I had to unsub because he's
Yeah.
too harsh
Mm-hmm.
on films that are just meant to be fun and popcorn entertainment. I'm like, yes, you're right. I am. Because if these people felt the same way, we'd have better stuff.
Exactly. I mean, even
Can't tell me these effects look great.
well, they definitely don't. And the makeup
I've
effects
seen low budget
artists.
direct-to-video fucking films
Hmm.
do better in the 80s and 90s.
Makeup effects artists, they will tell you. One of the first things they'll tell you, like Rob Bottin mentioned this in the making of The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing documentary, Terror Takes Shape. You know, it's about lighting. You know, you don't want to give these creatures too much light because it will look fake. And you also don't want to give them not enough light because then you can't see it.
And you do in the daytime because they did in Critters 2.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it, then don't fucking do
But
it.
in the daytime,
If you're like, we can't do it, then don't fucking do it.
exactly, because in Critters 2, it was in the daytime, but it was shot properly. They still found a way to shoot that
Yes.
properly so that it wasn't too much overexposure. Because that's what you have here. And it looks like it was just shot digitally with like a cheap camcorder or something. And I don't like the cast either. That's another thing. So it's bad enough that the critters look fake. It's the fucking cast. It just seemed like this fat fuck who's annoying. Don't really care. I think it's some other African American
I
guy.
could be I could be wrong, but I swear for a split second I saw like Gilbert Gottfried in the background.
I think it
I think I'm
was.
wrong in that, but I swear I saw
No, I
Gilbert
think I
Gottfried.
think it was. I could be wrong, but I think it might have been. Yeah, it is. Yeah, he is in it.
Okay, well there you go. It's gonna be a wannabe sci-fi channel fucking
Thomas Lennon is also in
Sharknado,
it
but with
too from
practical.
Reno 911.
Well, he was also in Puppet Master, that fucking one that didn't even have an ending to a movie.
Oh, so you saw that one? The last one that they did, the
I
Puppet Master
flipped
one.
through it and I I flipped through it and I saw the ending and it's not really an ending. Like the puppets get away and then it's like a sequel bait, but then it's like not even an ending.
Well, that's lame.
It's like you're waiting for the third act. If you see the film, folks, you know what I'm talking about.
Huh.
It's like the woman or someone Thomas Lane cares for dies, and then they stop the puppet, and then like he's typing somewhere or something, and then it's like not even an ending. It must have had to be continued on there,
So it seems like it's just a
just
film that like,
abruptly.
oh, we just for the gore. And for some people that's enough, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And for some people,
yeah.
oh, just because the critters are back, that's enough. We get more critter stuff. It's like all the fucking pushback I got from all things, the fucking KFC ads for RoboCop. I mean, holy shit. God damn. Over 40
Sorry to hear.
dislikes, tons of comments that you can't see anymore because people were being bitches and I had to make them leave. But I mean, like, really, of all the fucking things to be defensive about, these crudely made, half-assed KFC ads. That's proof. That just proves to me that people's standards have gotten lower. Well, get over it, dude. It's not that big of a deal. It's a joke. Like, what the hell? Buh.
Well, not to toot our own horn, I think we just have too much passion,
Yeah, I think
and we
that's
don't
it.
take bullshit.
Nope, definitely not. And there's a good amount of people who are probably listening to this that respect that, and we respect you in turn. Um,
And you know what? That's why. And I don't mean to get off track. All these fucking quote filmmakers, right? All these quote directors, right? They homage the 80s. We don't do a movie like the 80s. And 9 times out of 10, they fucking suck ass
mm-hmm.
because they don't know what makes an 80s film. Because they don't respect it. Because they don't really have the passion. They're one of these fucking people that look at it and go, that's goofy. That's silly.
That's
Wink,
cheesy.
wink. And they think that's the 80s. It's cheesy. And I hate the word cheese. And I know you hate the word
Yeah,
cheese. But they're the fucking people that do that. And then that's why people forget about most of these fucking films, like that fucking one with the bike, the kid with the bike. I'm
Turbo
not
Kid.
Turbo Kid. I'm not a
Yeah,
fan of it.
I didn't like it
I
either
wasn't a
because
fan of it.
it wasn't
If
a
you are,
honest.
that's fine.
I wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't an honest homage. It was kind of half-assed. It was kind of a hipster homage, and I didn't like the ending at all.
And, and it's just they don't really get it. They think they know the 80s, but they really don't know what makes those films work. Those films, even when they're fun, they took themselves like the
Hmm.
craft was taken seriously.
Yeah.
You
Stranger
have a crazy idea
Things.
like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
They took the craft serious,
Stranger
even a
Things. If
silly
you ever do get
movie.
a chance to see that, I think that series did nail that aesthetic because it managed. It took things seriously
Okay.
enough, but also managed to have the sense of humor and fun about it. And I personally feel that series really nailed it. And it's a big reason because the Duffer Brothers they grew up in the '80s and they're just super big fans of films from that time period and legitimate fans, like not the '80s are in nostalgia for the '80s. They're legitimately big
Hmm.
fans. Um, you're seeing that a little bit with '90s stuff too, because apparently there's going to be a Sandlot sequel series, like a series, like I think it's a TV series, and I guess the original cast is going to come back. That'll be interesting. Um, I like the Sandlot, and the sequels for the most part are pretty bad. But I don't know, a sequel series with the original cast returning. I'll wait for a trailer, but it's kind of intriguing. Um, but yeah, Stephen King's It. That's a perfect example, Matt, of a recent film that took place in the '80s, but did not have the genuine '80s aesthetic or feel to it. It just felt forced and half-assed, specifically half-assed. Like even there's like a
But people
scene
loved it.
in the drugstore. Like you can tell it's not. They didn't even try to make it look like it's from the period. They did nothing like that. Unlike Stranger Things, where they went above and beyond. They got the houses that are in the film. They went and dressed them up with certain wallpaper and furniture and all these other things that would be from that time period. But with it was just you're just half-assed about it. Throw some posters on the wall. Show a movie theater that has a marquee for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 and a few other films from the '80s and call it a day.
But it doesn't matter because most people loved it. It's one of the biggest R-rated films ever.
Yeah, which I don't understand why, but to each their own. I mean, it is what it is. So I don't really
Hmm.
have anything else to say in terms of movie news. I think that's pretty much about it, unless you have anything that comes to mind. I do have some upcoming DVDs and Blu-rays that I think are worth discussing. Oh, did we talk about the Hellboy teaser trailer? The new Hellboy trailer. There's a new Hellboy trailer that came out for the Hellboy reboot. David Harbour, who I love in Stranger Things, but he just seems really miscast in this. And even the lines that he delivers in this trailer that seem okay, it just sounds like he's imitating Ron Perlman to me. And it's like, well, why didn't you just have Ron Perlman? Why did you do this? Why didn't you just do Hellboy 3? Why don't you have Del Toro come back and Perlman, so on and so forth? They really wanted to do it, and nope, do a reboot with Mila Jovovich, who is like a plank of fucking wood in this trailer with a British accent, tons of shitty CGI. I just it doesn't. I mean, the first trailer was awful because of the comedy. This one is not much better. I know people have said it's better. I don't really see how it's demonstrably better than the Ever trailer. It still looks pretty bad to me, personally. But it's like more adapted from the comic, so there's more scenes in it that are straight from the comic. Oh, so you're taking the Zack Snyder defense. Oh, Zack Snyder's Batman versus Superman, like that shot in the film with Batman and Superman, that's like straight from the comic. You need to do more than just adapt scenes from the comics. Like you have to adapt the story properly. The scenes themselves don't make a good adaptation. I'm sorry. If I want to see the scenes, I'll just
No.
read the comic. Why the hell would I, the movie, because it adapts that scene? You need to have more than that. And Watchmen had that. Watchmen adapted the story well, even improved it in some aspects, and it had the scenes that were straight from the comic that came to life on film. So it did both. It didn't just do one or the other. And it's a shame, too, because the guy who's doing the new Hellboy is the same guy who did Dog Soldiers. Neil Marshall.
Yeah, Neil Marshall.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I definitely am
I have
not...
no interest in new Hellboy.
I don't blame you. It's like, the hell with you. The hell with you, Hellboy.
There's the CW Lost Boys that they're doing.
Oh, yeah, that fucking thing. Where, guess what, folks?
With the Fraud Sisters.
Yeah, uh-huh. Of course, you saw that coming. I mean, you're like, oh, they're going to do a new Lost Boys, and it's going to be a new TV series. Oh, they're going to make the Frog Brothers the Frog Sisters, aren't they? Yep. It's getting predictable at this point. Speaking of that gender swapping bullshit, I mean, Paul Feig actually did come up and defend Jason Reitman recently, because for some reason there are a bunch of just, I'm going to say it, I don't care, call me sexist all I want to, a bunch of fucking twats who were getting their panties in a wad about some statement that Jason Reitman made about the new Ghostbusters. And it wasn't anything that I read it. I'm like, there's nothing in here that could be construed as anything that's like anti-feminism or anti-Ghostbusters 2016. And honestly, if it was anti-Ghostbusters 2016, that's a good thing. The movie's a piece of shit. It was a box office bomb. Critically, it did okay, but it's only because you had a bunch of fucking critics who were quaking in their boots and afraid of being called sexist, so they just towed the middle of the line. They towed the middle line. They were just like, it was okay, but deserves a lot of kudos for having an all-female cast. You read a lot of those reviews, they don't come across as if the critics actually liked the movie or had any desire of watching it ever again. And kudos to Richard Roper for calling out the bullshit and be like, no, the movie sucked. So, Jason Reitman, he didn't have to bow down, though. I thought it was kind of lame on his part to, like, come up with an apology. Like, oh, well, I'm sorry. That's not what I intended. Those girls did a great job. They're just, that's not the intention here. So, yeah. So he ended up folding, which was kind of lame, but hey, is what it is. And I don't think he said anything wrong. The people who got triggered about it, they're the ones that are in the wrong. So tired of that. Especially people writing articles about how single white female is lesbian phobic. I'm like, it's not even, no one even in the film is even a lesbian. There's no confirmed lesbians. There's nothing like that. So what are you talking about? I'm sick and tired of this triggered culture. These fucking, I'm offended writers and shit looking back at films from the past and trying to insert their own political bullshit into the movie. I'm sick and tired of it. That's what really grinds my gears is that shit. I'm like, it's offensive. Revenge of the Nerds is offensive. Such and such, insert such and such movie here is offensive according to today's views. Fuck off. Shut the hell up. Look at it as a product of its time. Eat a what?
I would just say eat. Just simple eat.
Eat it, yeah. Eat a dick. or a pussy, whatever you prefer, or ass.
Oh, by the way, Mike, there's another Amityville film that you got to review now.
Sorry, folks, about
It's
Matt's
called The
audio.
Amityville Murders.
Oh, great, lovely. Matt's audio is a little bit garbly. Sorry about that, folks. Um, just how it is.
Can
Um,
you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. It's just a little garbly versus before. In terms of like sound quality. Now, last thing I want to talk about before um, we stop this podcast is some upcoming DVDs and Blu-rays. Kino Lorber has just announced that they're going to be releasing Link on Blu-ray. Link is a underrated, overlooked horror film with Elizabeth Shue, directed by Richard Franklin, who did Psycho 2 and Road Games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the features
Yes,
was a couple
he did both of
interviews, I
those.
think, nothing like extensive, but it has not been available on any format for a while because it was on DVD, but it's been out of print for a long time. So that's really nice that it's getting a release from Kino Lorber. It's going to come out in May. Kino also announced a release of The Bedroom Window, which I was like, well, that's great timing. I was even saying, like, be nice to see a Blu-ray. And I might even mention Kino Lorber in the video. I don't know if I did or not, but Kino I thought would have been the company that would eventually release something like this because they seem to be releasing a lot of obscure films. So it's really nice to get a Blu-ray. Very underrated thriller directed by Curtis Hanson. I think it'll look great on Blu-ray too because it's got some really great cinematography and direction in it. So yeah, I get to see the Goot in one of his best acting roles in HD. So yeah, I'm definitely willing to upgrade my DVD with that shitty cover art, which makes it look like a softcore porn thriller, like an erotic thriller, and it is, but it's much better than the direct-to-video erotic thrillers. So I'm looking forward to those releases. Vinegar Syndrome, they're coming out with The Suckling, which most people don't remember, but I do. It was a fun exploitation creature feature. Dealt with a aborted fetus that's like mutated and whatever, and black comedy that skewers abortion, back alley abortion clinics and stuff like that. It's getting a Blu-ray in March from Vinegar Syndrome. Scream Factory is releasing Night of the Creeps. Amazon's pre-order is apparently out of stock. Been out of stock for weeks, which is troublesome. I don't have it on Blu-ray yet. I only have the DVD, so that would be nice to get maybe down the road. I know the features aren't going to be much in terms of extra features compared to the other releases, but if it's a 4K transfer or something, that would look pretty cool. But yeah, I don't care about an action figure of Tom Atkins. As much as I love the guy, I don't really care. Sorry, I'm not paying $60 for a Blu-ray and a toy, an action
Yeah,
figure that.
I don't care about that either. Not interested in action figures of it.
So, trying to think of the other Scream Factory. What else they're releasing? I know Pet Sematary is getting a release in 4K.
Man's Best Friend.
Man's Best Friend. Which I'm fine with my DVD. I haven't seen the film yet, and overall, I don't know much about it in terms of like the overall. Okay, that's not a bad pre-order from Shout Factory from their website. Finally, like $23.99 for the collector's edition. But I kind of don't want to buy from their site because this shipping sucks. So they're doing When a Stranger Calls Back, but if you already have the Second Sight box set, then don't really need that. Although apparently it's going to be in widescreen, where the original one, the one that's on the Second Sight one, is in full screen. But it makes sense because it was a TV movie, so I don't think there was a widescreen print.
Shell Factory is doing Cuffs.
Oh, cool.
Fun movie.
Yeah.
Coming out in April, I think. Cuffs. Christian Slater.
They're also doing The Brain, something called The Chosen, I've never heard of. The Seduction, which is a film with Morgan Fairchild. So that's what Scream Factory's doing. Eureka releasing. They are coming out with a Cujo limited edition in the UK in April. I already pre-ordered it because it was a really good deal. I mean, it's like 20 something. What is it, like 26 something bucks or something for the pre-order from the UK. It's got over 7 hours of extra content. It's got a hardbound slipcase featuring newly commissioned artwork by illustrator Graham Humphreys, reversible sleeve, limited edition 60-page collector's booklet, 1080p presentation of the film. A little disappointing that it's not like a 4K, but it is what it is. Maybe they're using a 2K transfer. Audio commentary with the author Lee Gambin, who wrote a book on the making of Cujo. Yeah, there's this author he also wrote a Making of Christine book. I just recently found out about those. I'd like to pick those up sometime. So I love making of books. New interview with Dee Wallace, which is 40 minutes long. A new interview with the composer, it's 35 minutes. A new interview with the stuntman, Gary Morgan, 25 minutes. New interview with the stuntwoman, Jean Coulter, which is number 21. New interview with the casting director, 20 minutes. New interview with the visual effects artist, Kathy Lawrence. A new interview with special effects designer Robert Clark, and a new interview with the dog trainer. And then there's the archival documentary on the film's production, Dog Days, which is also included. And the second disc on the limited edition has a Q&A with Dee Wallace from a Monster Fest, basically kind of a Comic-Con. It's a con. And then new interview with critic unoffered Kim Newman. So, yeah, folks, I mean, you can pre-order that right now on Amazon.co.uk, and it's not that expensive to ship to the US considering it's from the UK. In terms of another release that's coming up, I believe in April, or is it May? Or is it June? I think it's actually in June. From Unearthed Films, they are coming out with Dark Side of the Moon. Don't know anything about the features yet, but that's finally getting a home video release on something other than VHS, which I'm really curious about. Hopefully they get the sound right this time around. I guess Hollow Man is getting a Blu-ray, but it's like with the sequel, and I don't really want the sequel, 88 films, so can I just buy the first movie? Don't give a shit about Hollow Man 2. And the special features haven't been revealed yet. I mean, I might get it depending on the features, but I don't know. Hollow Man to me is a really underrated gem.
God. Yeah, I enjoy Hollow Man. I don't know why the sequel has a Blu-ray now.
I don't know either. What were you going? What was that reaction for?
Because Hollow Man 2 has a Blu-ray, but we could literally sit here for an hour about movies that should have a Blu-ray but don't.
Golden
The
Child.
shit like Hollow Man 2 does. Yeah.
The Abyss.
Picture.
True Lies. Although I do have a Blu-ray.
No,
see, with The Abyss and True
well,
Lies.
you do, yeah.
Like there's ways to get them, but
I don't.
Well, I know.
It's not ways for me to get them. You're lucky. But yeah, those two. Another 48 Hours, Metro, The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
Murder
other
by
Hunted is
Phone,
coming out.
Highlight.
The one with Christopher Lambert, that's finally getting a Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
From Shout
I
Factory.
like the one with Tommy Lee Jones better.
Yeah. And then you got stuff that's getting like Warner.
It's a huge list.
Then you're getting stuff like from Sony that's like made on demand. Like Stay Tuned came out. They're doing The Squeeze with Michael Keaton, which I'm looking forward to because it's not the best film in the world, but it's a fun movie. It's definitely worth owning for Michael Keaton, and if you're a huge Michael Keaton fan, definitely must own because it's a fun performance by him. And they're also doing Multiplicity, which is cool because that's a gem. And The Squeeze has a little bit of controversy apparently because people are bitching about the cover because it looks like Michael Keaton, because it's original poster art. Looks like Michael Keaton is squeezing the World Trade Center. And it's crumbling. And so there are people who are like, this is offensive and this should be changed. What's your thoughts on that?
It's the VHS cover. Changing it would be more of an offense.
I agree.
Changing it would be more offensive. You want to remember, not have it disappear.
Because I don't get that. I don't get where those people just want to just like erase the World Trade Center from existence because it got blown up. So they want to be like, well, because of this tragedy, we don't want anything.
Like I said before, people just have a part-time job of being offended.
Yeah.
Because we have a bunch of pussies nowadays. It's like their part-time job is to look for shit to be offended of. What's their part-time, or maybe their full-time job?
Mm-hmm.
Just find shit to be offended by. How about I offend you by putting my dick in your mouth? Maybe that'll offend you. And I'll sit on your face. Maybe you'll be offended by that.
Yeah.
And fart in your mouth. Shut the fuck up, you fucking PC pussies.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're a man, get some fucking balls and have them drop. Get some hair on them. Fucking PC pussies today. Shit.
I know.
Be a fucking man.
It's just cover art. And it's original poster art. Like, there's no reason to, like, retroactively try to change history or any of that shit. I mean, just unnecessary. Just because it triggers you,
exactly.
Or it offends you, or whatever, or it reminds you of a tragedy. Like, that's what's always going to happen with the World Trade Center now, because the World Trade Center, sadly, is going to be associated with the 9/11 attacks. But that's natural, and that's understandable, considering what happened. Now, speaking of Blu-rays, it'd be nice.
You know what?
What?
You better ban that movie Pearl Harbor since that Pearl Harbor happened. You better ban that movie.
Better ban the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark, because the Nazis did all these atrocious things.
Better keep them out. They did, a lot of They're ban, better wipe out all the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark so Indiana Jones is fighting the air.
Better take out Hitler in Last Crusade. Replace him with Mickey Mouse.
So he's talking to nobody.
He's talking to Mickey. Which actually fits, if you think about it. It kind of fits now, considering that Disney's fucking taking over everything, like Nazi.
Someone needs to make that movie. Someone needs to make that movie where Mickey Mouse is a Nazi. And Roger Rabbit has to stop him. That's Roger Rabbit too. Mickey Mouse was secretly a Nazi the whole time, so Roger Rabbit has to stop him.
So he's a double agent, like Neville Sinclair.
Yeah, he's you have even voiced by Timothy Dalton. Why you have the normal Mickey Mouse, and then when it's his real voice is Timothy Dalton. Reprised his role from Rocketeer. He's an actor. Mickey Mouse is an actor. He's been acting the whole time. He doesn't really talk like that. He doesn't talk that high of a voice, really. He's been acting the whole time. It's part of his cover. So what he talks normally is Timothy Dalton's character for Rocketeer. Cursing Roger Rabbit out. There you go.
That's great.
Mickey Mouse is good. See, Roger Rabbit can stop. Or Donald Duck. There you go. Make Donald Duck the hero. There you go. Donald Duck has to kill Mickey Mouse.
I'd love to see that. Nazi. That would never happen. Never in a million years. But
that's why I would like to see it.
That would be great to see that in an alternate dimension, man. See that movie.
Oh, do it in this dimension. Have someone do this. Just say fuck it. If someone could do that fucking Steve from Tomorrow fucking movie,
or like what South Park did. South Park skewered Mickey, in the Jonas Brothers episode they did with the purity rings and everything.
It's not like Disney's doing anything with Mickey Mouse or Donald. It's not like they're doing anything with those characters. They're put in a fucking vault.
Well, they're in the Kingdom Hearts 3 video game that's coming out or already came out.
I mean, like animated movies or
Well,
anything.
they had like a TV show, but I don't
Not
think
doing.
that lasted that long. They're doing like a thing for kids, like a new version of Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse, but that's really about it. That's all they really have going on with those characters.
Saw
So yeah, speaking of stuff that
that no one watched.
yeah, it'd be nice to see on Blu-ray, Body Parts with Jeff Fahey, and of course, The Keep. Like, fuck off, Michael Mann. Get
Yeah,
over it. Stop being a
Uncommon.
dick.
Yeah, Uncommon Valor.
Yes.
Uncommon Valor. I put out. That's not on Blu-ray. It's
But
just
we get
DVD.
Leprechaun
That's what I mean.
Returns.
There's countless movies. Yeah,
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun Returns.
Yeah, another Leprechaun. We get that instead.
Of
Um,
course, nostalgia masturbation. Nostalgia masturbation.
nostalgia porn. Yep.
That's what it is nowadays. No, I call it nostalgia masturbation because it's not pleasing me, it's pleasing themselves.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. They're not pleasing the audience. They're
Yeah.
pleasing themselves.
I agree with that. That's a good way to put it.
Them mas them mas them masturbating doesn't please me. So I can't call it nostalgia porn. At least porn could please me. Them masturbating over themselves doesn't please me. They're just jerking themselves off. So it's nostalgia masturbation.
So, one last thing I want to mention is Synapse. Synapse Films did Don May from Synapse. He actually announced that things are going forward with The Kindred. That's another film I'd want to see on Blu-ray. And Synapse is notorious for this. They take their sweet ass time. But unlike some other companies, they do that for a reason. They don't just take their sweet ass time because, oh, like such and such, or they're just dicking around. They do it because they're trying to make sure they have the best product possible. And that's what he was talking about. He was saying that we've moved into some new offices, so that caused a little bit of a delay. And honestly, we felt that the print that we had put together wasn't up to par. So we're gonna work on it some more to make it better. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I've waited a long time as it is for The Kindred. And it's not like this instance with Synapse before The Kindred where it was a rights issue that the rights issues are all figured out. So that's not going to be an issue. It's just a matter of just waiting for them to put out the product. And they put out a really high quality product. Yeah, it takes a while. But once they get it out there, it's high quality. Popcorn, great release. Films never look better. So I'd rather a
Well, there
company
you go.
take their time and release it instead of a company like MVD, which churns out all these releases and has really shitty quality control and bad customer service.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I concur.
that's just me personally. Um, I guess they're coming out with Double Impact. I think they're doing a few other things. With that company, I don't really care what they're going to come out with, knowing how the guy who basically does everything at that company acts. So, don't really give a shit about MVD. People can call me pedantic all they want to, but I'm just going to leave it out here, right now. One last salvo. Not having the theatrical audio when you list the theatrical cut is a fuck up, and it is lying to your consumer because you're saying you have the theatrical cut, and theatrical cut equals theatrical audio. There's no VHS audio or VHS cut or childhood version. There's none of that shit. Theatrical audio equals theatrical cut. Theatrical cut equals theatrical audio both ways. Like there's no reason why anyone should ever think that theatrical cut equals any other form of audio than the theatrical audio. It's not how theatrical cut works. It's not rocket science either. You don't have to be a fucking genius. You don't have to have like a crazy high IQ to figure that out. And it's especially bad when the audio changes the entire ending of the movie. So yeah, I don't blame folks like my friend over here or anyone else who was upset with the Blu-ray of Nemesis for fucking up the theatrical audio. Well, not really having the theatrical audio. So, and that's, they keep
Because they
fucking
didn't
up.
know.
They keep
Ignorance.
they keep fucking up. They did it with, they had to come out with two replacement discs for their release of Lionheart. So, and it's just one guy doing everything, which is just a nightmare for quality control anyway. Like, really. But hey, if you want to support the company, be my guest. I'm still gonna get, like, I still want Return of the Swamp Thing. I've heard no problems with that disc, what I know of. Sounds like it's one of the ones that seems to be okay. And was Abominable fine? I haven't heard any issues with that disc either. So it seems like they did okay with that. But
I didn't notice anything with Abominable, no.
so it seems like a company that
I
they'll
didn't
have
notice
some
anything.
discs that work out, but there are a lot of companies that do that. Like, they'll have some discs that aren't fucked up, and then they'll fuck it up. So I mean, like, pair of pricks. Look at Paramount. One last thing to fire off here. And you'll probably have already seen a video about this, but I just want to reiterate it here. Paramount, not only are they not releasing certain films on Blu-ray because they don't give a shit, like April Fool's Day and The Golden Child and 48 Hours and another 48 Hours and so on and so forth.
Well, the first one's on Blu-ray,
The first
not
one's
the
on,
sequel.
well, the sequel, another 48 Hours.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other ones for Paramount, really. They just don't care. They released a limited edition box set of the Godfather trilogy called the Omerta edition. Must be Murder edition, because you want to murder Paramount after you see what they fucking did to the box set. Or the Oh My God, Oh My Fucking God edition. Because oh my fucking God, like, how the hell did this make it past quality control? This set was a limited edition, had all these bells and whistles. Had like a magnet and like some cards and a few other things. And the movies are put in this cardboard sort of folding case, and the discs are put into these hard plastic round, trying to think of the right word for it, like the things that keep the disc in. I can't remember what the name is for it. So they're made out of hard plastic instead of the thing that you press down and it has give to it, like all other cases seem to have. It's just a hard piece of fucking plastic. And that's not the worst part, because I've had some other cases that have it, but like you could still get the disc out. It's a pain in the ass, but you still get it out because they had the foresight to make it the same fucking shape as the disc, the hole in the disc. Matt, the shape of the fucking the things they're supposed to keep the disc in this murder edition, they're a fucking hexagon. They're not round. So because of this, 2 of the discs in the set were fucking busted and cracked, or it broke one trying to get it out. Kind of started to break one trying to get it out, but saved it. But I don't know. It seems like it's pretty brittle, and I don't want to risk my 4K player by putting fucking potentially brittle disc in there. The second one is fine, but it might have had damage to it that I don't know of. So I just kind of want to just stay away from the set, and I'd stay away from it right now, and like buy another set. And I'm not blaming the seller, but then again, they might have known about it and fucking ripped me off. The guy hasn't responded to my comment, so that's not good. It's not a good sign. Thankfully, I didn't pay that much for it. But $15 is still $15. And it's a series that I don't remember being
Yeah.
that big of a fan of to begin with, but I was willing to take a chance on a limited collector's edition, you know, Godfather films on Blu-ray, you know, so on and so forth. But this set is fucking garbage. So this is an example of, you know, a studio not giving a shit. And you would think Paramount would actually, I don't know, give more of a shit with a limited box set of the Godfather films, considering how high of a pedigree at least the first two have. But no. They have this limited edition box set, and they don't even make the fucking things that are supposed to keep the disc in round. They literally thought, oh, I'm going to shove a square peg into a round hole, and that's a good thing. Like, it's unbelievable to me. I could not believe what I was fucking seeing. Like, it's the worst I've ever seen with that kind of, with a box set. I mean, even the Back to the Future trilogy, the original release on Blu-ray, which had instructions to take the disc out, even that was better than this. The fucking cases that Mill Creek comes out with that are like just a bunch of discs stacked on top of each other is better than this. The ones where they just had like discs in slip cases, paper slip cases, that's better than this. It's cheap and it's lazy, but at least they're in something, and they're not. I'm not gonna break them getting them out of the fucking case, or they're not already broken. And I can say this: MVD at least gets this right. I mean, Paramount fucked up so badly with this release that I mean, I want to shove that mountain in the beginning of, you know, every film that plays. You know, the intro for Paramount. I want to shove that fucking mountain up their ass. Jesus fucking Christ!
And every star too.
This is pair of pricks is right, because only a pair of pricks would put together a box set like that, charge people a premium amount of money when it came out. Because this was when this came out, it wasn't cheap. So I feel even worse for the people who bought this when it first came out, and were left, you know, with this, where you open it, looks cool. You open it up, you're like, oh, it looks like it's fine, and then you try to get the discs out, and you're like, what the fuck? I'm gonna break it. I can't get this out. It's like you think you need some fucking pliers to get the discs out of the case, but even that probably won't help much of anything, and still fucking break it. You're gonna break the disc in half trying to get them out of the case. So buyer beware. Do not buy the Godfather Trilogy Omerta edition. So anyway, folks, that's all my thoughts on... do you have any cases that you remember that were like really bad? Or anything?
Not like that, no.
Well, of course not.
Like that, no.
Because it's like self-explanatory. Like, you would never think that a company would ever make a product like that. That literally just breaks the fucking product. I still can't believe that even got past quality control. Like, how are you looking at this being like, it's like, was this on purpose? Like, it was like, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Or an offer that you should refuse. Really, that's more what it is. I mean, for fuck's sake. Anyway, I got nothing else to say, folks, except thanks for listening. Hope you all enjoyed this podcast. Once again, thanks to my good friend Matt for joining me. And until next time.
Thank you.
See you later. See ya.